श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम। ओम नमो नारायणाय। नरेश
नमो नारायण
नमः। चलो हम हमारे ध्यान श्लोक में जाते हैं। ओम पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणी भगवती अष्टादशाध्यायिनी त्वामनुसन्धामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी नमोस्तुते व्यास
विशाल बुद्धे
नेत्र त्वया भारत तैलपूर्णः ज्वालितो ज्ञानमय प्रदीपः प्रपन्न पारिजाताय प्रवैत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। भीष्मद्रोणतटा जयद्रथजला गान्धारनीलोत्पला शल्यग्राहवती कृपेण वहने कर्णेन वेलाकुला अश्वत्थामविकर्णघोरमकरा दुर्योधनावर्तिनी पूतेन खलु पाण्डवैरननदी कैवर्तककेशवः पाराशर्यवच सरोजममलं गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटम् ज्ञानककेसरं हरिकथा सम्बोधनाभूतितं लोके सज्जन षट्पदैरहरः पेपीयमानं मुदा भूयाद् भारत पंकजं कलिमलप्रध्वंसिनः श्रेयसे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ते स्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ज्ञानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। देवाय तस्मै नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्।
लोग आए हुए देख रहे हैं।
So we'll go now to page number 20, I think. Okay. Whoever is chatting, we can hear everything. So please, if you must chat, please put your phone, put your thing on mute. Okay, this is the first rule, so that the sound from the house will not come. सब लोग अपने को mute कर दो, please. यार कोई सुनता नहीं। Hello. Yes, I don't know what's happened to my screen, It's acting very strange. Okay. ये क्या हो रहा है स्क्रीन को पता नहीं। ट्राई करते हैं ऐसे। ये क्यों आ गए? अभी इसको मुझे व्यू, गैलरी व्यू, अच्छा ऐसा करना पड़ता है। ओके, so very good. So let's go to page number, I think I had thought of 20, where we say Arjuna Vacha. Arjuna uvacha Sthitaprajnasya ka bhasha Samadhistasya Keshava Sthitadhi kim prabhasheta Kimasita vrajeta kim Shri Bhagavan Prajahati yada kaman Sarvan partha manogatan Atmanyevatmana tushtaha Sthitaprajnastadochyate Dukeshvanudvignamanaha Sukheshu vigataspruhaha Vitaragabhayakrodhaha Sthitadirmuniruchyate Yassarvatranabhisnehaha Tat prapya shubhashubham Nabhinandanti nadveshti Tasya prajna pratishtita Yada samvarate chayam Ongani sarvashaha Indriyani pramatini Tasya prajna pratishtita. Yeah, now I request everybody to mute their phones. Okay, whoever know, please mute so that there's no disturbance because all this gets recorded. Or I will only mute everybody. Okay, मैं ही mute कर देती हूँ. Okay. So we are going to look at this. Okay. Let me put this blessed thing up. Okay. So we are on Sthita Prajna Lakshanani. On that topic, so we continue and we just finished reading this up till here. So I go ahead. So we were looking at how Arjuna had asked a question to Lord Krishna. He was asking, what is the lifestyle of this Gnani, the wise man, who has not only intellectually understood, but he has, totally imbibed it. He has assimilated this Jnanam. So he has got a lot of emotional strength from it. So what is the lifestyle of a Sthita Prajna? How does he conduct himself? And how does he respond to different situations? Okay. So this Sthita Prajna. Okay. So we are looking at this word Sthita Prajna. So in the context of Vedanta, we are calling him a Jnani. So Jnani means he's got Jnanam. And so what kind of Jnanam does he have? He has got self-knowledge because the context is Vedanta. So Jnani is different from a Karma Yogi. Karma Yogi also has got knowledge. Okay. Karma Yogi's knowledge is of Ishvara, of Saguna Brahma. That Lord is the Nimittopadana Karanam. And Karma Yogi is therefore surrendered to the Lord. He does all his actions as an offering unto the Lord. And he receives the Karma Pala as Prasada iti. That is the Karma Yogi's Jnanam. But this Jnani whom we are talking about, when we are saying his Sthita Prajna, his knowledge is firm, this is the Jnani, then what is the Jnanam? The Jnanam is Jiva Parameshwara Aikyam. That means his knowledge is what? His knowledge is that I am that self-revealing, self-existing consciousness, which is eternal, which can never be destroyed by time, and which is all pervading. Iti, I am that Purna Atma. This kind of knowledge he has, that I am Brahman. Iti. So the entire knowledge was given in the verses from 12 to 25. Okay, and so the Jnani is the one who has assimilated that knowledge, which we have seen already in verses number 12 to 25. And the Karma Yogi is the one who has knowledge, but he is surrendered to Ishvara. He has not assimilated that I am Brahmaniti. So Sthita Prajna refers only to the person who has got the knowledge that I am this Atma, I am Brahman iti. Okay, so this is the Karma Yogi and this is the Jnani. There is one more level where the person has got knowledge, but it is not sthira. The knowledge is not firm. It has not been fully assimilated. So that person we can call as a prajna. Okay. So prajna is the one who has the knowledge, but it has not been converted into emotional strength in his life. He is still one. So we call it as sapratibandhaka jnanam. Okay. There is knowledge, but it is sapratibandhaka knowledge. And he has to convert it into a great deal of emotion. It has to percolate into every cell of his being. Without that kind of conversion, the emotional personality remains very fragile. And the knowledge will stay only in the, in the intellect. But the mind will be very, very vulnerable. And so the person will continue to have emotional problems like anger, jealousy, greed, etc. Fear, anxiety, all of them will be there. The person will ro ke bolenge, aham brahmasmi. ro ke, he will be saying aham brahmasmi. So this is kind of a split personality, So this kind of intellectual knowledge needs to be converted to emotional strength, and the person who has done that is the one we call as the Jivan Mukta, the Sthita Prajna. Okay, the knowledge is percolated down into his every cell of his being, into his emotional personality, and he is able to say, Atmani eva atmana tushtaha. I am the, he is able to say that I am happy as I am. I don't miss anything in my life. See, only when there is a sense of apurnata, feeling of apurnata, it means a sense of being incomplete, then I miss things in life. And this missing things, this apurnata sense translates itself into a desire. Because whatever I miss in my life, I naturally mujhe uske liye desire hogi. Some people miss a companion, and so they want to get married. Therefore, what happens? Miss becomes Mrs. Because she missed, she was missing something. So she became a Mrs. Iti. Hoping that, that sense of a void, of an incompleteness and apurnata will go away. So missing things makes me seek things. It makes me seek in my life. It makes me go after things in my life. And then, of course, from that, all the other issues will come up, success, failure, etc. But here is this Jnani, the Sthita Prajna, who does not miss anything. So, what is the first characteristic of the Sthita Prajna? Atmani eva atmana tushtaha. Okay? The one who is happy in himself. This is the first characteristic. And because the person says, I am as I am, he is happy with that. He has no problem. And he says, he knows, I don't require things to complete me. I am not a Purnati. He knows that I don't need anything to complete me. I may possess a few things, but I don't need things. There's a difference between possession and needing. When you need something, then you get possessed. I have to have it. I have to have it. I have to have it. It's very binding, the need. Whereas possessing, if it's there, it's good. If it's not there, it's fine. Iti. So when I just possess a thing, okay, I'm not possessed by it. Iti. So this kind of a mental state, is called as Prajahati Sarvan Kaman. No binding desires are there for this fellow, iti. Okay. So, and then the third, which is very, very important, it includes both these. Dukheshu anudvigna manaha, sukheshu vigatas pruhaha. Amounting to what? Amounting to samatvam. Means dukheshu, when there are adverse conditions, unfavorable conditions, he is not disturbed. Sukheshu vigatas pruhaha. When there are favorable conditions, he doesn't get stuck to that. He doesn't crave for that. Iti, he's free, meaning what? He has got emotional balance in his life. He has got samatvam. Samatvam is there for this person. So the third characteristic was samatvam. The fourth characteristic is he is free of raga, binding raga. Okay? Binding love, meaning he has got vairagyam. A certain level of vairagyam is there, meaning not emotionally dependent on anything. Iti. Usually emotional dependence is our biggest issue. Because, and where there is emotional dependence, where attachment is there, there is fear. You can be sure that if you are scared, behind that fear, there is some attachment. So this person is free of this kind of emotional dependence. Therefore, there is no bhaya. Okay? Doesn't have bhaya. Jnani is, who is the Jnani? Jnani is the person, he has no bhaya. He is not scared of losing anything. Okay, not at all scared. So in other words, you can say the Jnani is one who is ready to lose anything. And that preparedness to lose anything, okay, is what is giving him inner strength. There's a lot of inner strength because of that. Okay. So Vairagyam and Abhaya is there. He is fearless. Then what happens? Because of absence of this emotional dependence and fear, this Jnani is free from a very common human emotion, which is krodha, anger. He is free from anger. Because anger is another form of desire. In third chapter, Krishna will be talking about this. How anger is desire converted. Because there's a lot of expectation. There's a lot of expectation that things should be like the way I want. And for some reason, if there's some obstruction to that desire, then I get angry towards whatever obstructed my desire. Okay? So anger is another form of desire, that is all. Okay. Okay. So with that we saw, and now let us go to the next verse. Okay. Okay. Yes, sarvatran anabhisneha. Yes, sarvatra anabhisneha. Tat tat prapya shubha shubham. Nabhinandanti nadveshti. Tasya prajna pratishtita. This was verse number 57. Okay. So, let's look at this one. So, we are continuing with the same topic of Sthita Prajna's Lakshanani. And Krishna says that a Sthita Prajna is one who is sarvatra anabhisneha. Sneha means something sticky. Sanskrit, you can have two meanings. Something sticky, oily substance is called as sneha, and also attachment is called as sneha. So, this Jnani is a person who is free. He's not hooked on to anything. No person, no situation, no place. Whereas somebody who is ignorant is like, you know, supposing you give that person an abhishek with gum. Supposing you have a bath with gum. What will happen? Everything will stick to you, no? You try anything and everything is going to stick to you. You become a sticky person to which everything sticks. So, this person who doesn't have jnanam is a sticky person. He holds on to everything. He's sticky, cannot let go of anything. Our mind is like that. It is all gummed up, you know. And so, sarvatra abhisneha he has got. Meaning his mind is weak. Not anabhisneha. His mind is weak. He's sticking to everything, can't let go of anything. You know, it's very interesting. When we were all studying, we go to class, and even in camps, you can see that, you know, that everybody reserves their place to sit. So before the doors open the first time in the camp, no, सब लोग भाग के जाते हैं और अपने अपने आसन लगा देते हैं, that we must have our place to sit. And my God, if anybody comes and sits in your place, there will be krodha. Okay, the classroom is considered like a temple, but there is no temple business there. It's only fighting. Yeah, how can you sit in my place? I have booked this place. Iti. Or even in regular classes, no, you have got your own places. So people get very upset if by chance a newcomer comes and doesn't know that places are reserved and this is this one's place and that one's place. If they go and sit in any place, then there is a lot of krodha, you know. So that is how our minds are. We just get stuck. We just get stuck to things. And we want to say, this is mine, this is mine, this is mine. Iti. So to anything and everything we get stuck. Who is the Jnani? The Jnani is the one who moves with all people, who loves everyone, enjoys the company, but at the same time does not get stuck to anyone. So if he's a sannyasi, that's why in those days called Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya. Iti. Because he moves freely, loves everyone. He's got unconditional love, very accepting person, Jnanis are. But is not stuck to anyone. And so that kind of psychological freedom is called as anabhisnehatvam. Okay, there is no sneha. It is really an emotional freedom, a huge freedom. You know, certain gadgets, they've got many parts. And those parts, you know, you have to use screws and you have to screw them on. And then you can unattach them, you know, you unscrew it and keep. Jnani is like that. He moves with people, he is one with people, sabke saath milta julta hai. And when the time is up, chalo. You know, he just takes himself away from that, unscrews himself from that. Okay, so he enjoys the company of everyone, but he does not miss anyone. So sometimes people will ask, no, you know, do you ever miss me? Then just to keep that person happy, not to disappoint that person, Jnani may say, yes, I do miss you. You know, without you in the class, he'll say, where were you? I missed you in the class. Without you in the class, you know, I did not enjoy. Jnani may say all of this. Why? The other person will feel very good, will feel like a VIP, you know. Arey, wow, I am somebody. They feel very happy. So, he will feel very important and significant, right? But really speaking, Jnani is anabhisneha. Okay, he's able to let go very, very easily. This is a real achievement in life, whether we become Jnani or not. The capacity to let go, you know, we just, the non-resistance and capacity to let go is a very big achievement. Okay. Then, tat prapya shubha shubham. Okay. So, look at this. Shubha ashubha. The Jnani also experiences external favorable situations and external unfavorable situations. It's true that a Jnani does not have agami karma, meaning he does not get any fresh punya papam, because he knows himself as akarta. So no fresh punya papa is going to come to the Jnani. But before he became a Jnani, there was ignorance, and because there was ignorance, he did lot of karma for which he gained both punya and papa. And those punya papas do not leave the Jnani just because he got Jnanam. There is something called prarabdha karma, right? So out of that whole bundle of karma which has been gathered over lifetimes, some karma is fructifies as prarabdha karma, and those karmas will continue to fructify, bringing favorable and unfavorable to the Jnani. So prarabdha karma is going to continue for some time. Therefore, Jnani is going to face favorable and unfavorable situations. And Krishna is calling them as Shubha and Ashubha. Okay? Prapya. Having gained Shubha or Ashubha, iti, like, when some people will glorify the Jnani. Oh, how wonderful he is. There's so much Jnanam and he's so kind and he's so this and, he did so much of work. And so some people will glorify that person and some people will criticize. These sannyasis, they are the bane of the country. They don't do any work at all. And they're always encouraging everybody for nivritti. All the problems in India are because of them. Like that, people can glorify and people can criticize. And in the face of both of this, glorification and criticism, how is the Jnani? Na abhinandati, na dveshti. Okay? He doesn't get unduly elated when he is glorified or when he gets a favorable situation. And he doesn't get unduly upset when he's faced with an unfavorable situation, he's faced with criticism, etc., etc. He is not carried away, which means what? There is samatvam. Samatvam for the Jnani iti, which was mentioned even in the previous verse. So this shlok is very similar to the previous verse. Now, when we say that a Jnani, a person of wisdom, is not disturbed by situations and people's proper conduct or improper conduct, then it can be misunderstood by people. They can argue that, oh, Swamiji, if you're going to accept all the situations without any reaction, then people will think, they will just take us as a doormat. They will think we are very simple and then they will just walk all over us. They will exploit us. They will treat us like a doormat. So are you saying that I should just meekly, surrender to all the situations? कोई बात नहीं, कुछ भी होता है उसके लिए surrender कर लो और अपना balance of mind रखो. Doesn't it make me a weak person, iti? Previously, I used to react to situations and therefore I was able to correct the misbehavior of a person. So if now I'm not going to react, yes, sarvatra nanabhisneha nabhinandanti nadveshti and all this, if I do, then people will think I'm a simpleton. I'm a simple person, but they will think I'm a simpleton. And so now Vedanta is telling me that I should meekly surrender to all unfavorable situations or improper behavior. No, Vedanta is not telling you that. See, in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna is himself telling Arjuna that you go and fight. There is adharma over there, go and fight. Iti. So Vedanta is not telling you about blind acceptance of whatever wrong is done by other people or injustice which is done by others. What is Vedanta saying? If for situations, we could look at it like this way, that there can be 3 types of responses. So one is impulsive. Okay, let me put this up here. Okay, it disturbs me, Okay, let it be here. Okay, so one response is there, an impulsive mechanical reaction. Okay, in which I'm just, I'm mechanically programmed to react to things. So I just react. कुछ सोचता नहीं है. जो मन में आया तुरंत करना है. Immediate reaction to something. No planning, nothing. No looking at consequences. I should have written that. That's very important. No bothering about consequences. Nothing. There's no discrimination or thinking. Nothing is over there. I just, जो मन में आता है, I react. Okay. All in keeping with my old programming. This is one possibility. The second possibility is that I meekly surrender to the situation. Whatever abuse is going on, uske liye I just surrender to that. I don't take any step to remedy them at all. What shall we call this? This is going to be called as unintelligent inaction. Not doing anything with it. And generally what happens, we swing between both of them. One is very impulsively I can act. There's no stop button, I just react. And the other is, I just surrender when I should not, you know, iti. So this is unintelligent. Both are unintelligent actions. Both are born out of weakness. Impulsive reaction is bad because it's going to affect me. I don't look at the consequences. I just do things, iti. So it is quite possible it will affect me very adversely, iti. And impulsive reactions may get things done, but the benefit is short term. Okay. Immediate positive benefit may have many long-term negative effects. It's like antibiotics. Antibiotics will give you short-term benefit, but in the long term, there could be many side effects. Okay. And many people, you know, who are impulsive, they think ki ye badhiya hai, you know, this is our strength. But actually we say it is not strength. It is a weakness. It is lack of self-control. Then what about meekly surrendering to situation? That is also improper because we only suffer the injustice, right? So Shastra does not say that we should meekly suffer or surrender. Both are not proper. So what does Shastra want? Avoid impulsive reaction, avoid unintelligent inaction, and take to intelligent, deliberate action. Right? Give sufficient time, think over, to study the matter, to see if there is a remedy or not. Give it enough time. Certain situations, there is no remedy at all. If it's a choiceless situation, then what can we do? Supposing it's a choiceless situation, we can only strengthen our mind. Okay? Strengthen our mind to face the situation. And many methods are there for strengthening the mind, which we will see later. So if it is a situation where we don't have any choice, then naturally we can't change the situation, because that is the meaning of choiceless situation, that you cannot change the situation. Then the only thing you can do is strengthen your mind so that the effect of that situation will be lessened or it will become zero. Iti. Then that would be very intelligent if you can strengthen your mind, you know, that is called as intelligent action. And supposing you have got choice in the situation, then sit and think about what the remedy can be, and let your action be deliberate. It is very, very thoughtful action, deliberately. Deliberately thought of. Okay. So you can see Krishna also was a Jnani, and he tried with Duryodhana all kinds of legitimate methods first. And when he saw that none of this is going to work, then very deliberately he told Arjuna, hey Arjuna, this Duryodhana has to go. You know, there is no other way out. And if Bhishma and Drona have unfortunately joined with Duryodhana, then you will have to fight them also. This is called as intelligent, deliberate action. So in Vedanta, we say, avoid impulsive reaction, avoid unintelligent inaction, and take to deliberate, thoughtful, thought out, properly planned action. Iti. Okay? Okay. Okay. Now, let's see one more verse. Okay. Now in this verse, okay. Oh dear.
Yada samharte.
Yeah. Yada samharte chayam kurmungani va sarvashaha indriyani indriyarthebhyaha tasya prajna pratishtita. So just the word meaning, moreover, cha, here's the cha. When he, yada ayam, okay, yada ayam, completely withdraws, sarvashaha samharate. He completely, sarvashaha samharate. He completely withdraws. What does he withdraw? The sense organs. Indriyani. From what does he withdraw? Indriyarthebhyaha. From the sense objects. Iti. How? Just as a tortoise. Okay? Kurmang, like a kurma iva. He withdraws its limbs, angani. Then is tada. Then tasya prajna. Tasya means his. Prajna, knowledge. Tasya prajna, it becomes firm, pratishtita. Iti. So from verse 57, Lord Krishna talks about the Jnani who has assimilated this knowledge fully, who is a Jivan Mukta, who has converted this knowledge, into emotional strength. So he is not only a person who has the knowledge, but he is a person with assimilated knowledge, and therefore he is called as the Sthita Prajna. Meaning there has been a great mental transformation in the person. It's not only a cognitive change, but there is a emotional transformation also. So that's why he's called as a Sthita Prajna. But now from this verse 58, Krishna is changing the topic. And Krishna is going to tell about how can a person convert this knowledge into emotional strength. Okay? What can you do to, presumably the person has got the knowledge, but there are some problems in the knowledge. So how to convert it? Which knowledge? Atmajnanam, self-knowledge. Okay? What is self-knowledge? It's been discussed from chapter in verse number 12 to 25. What was that knowledge? That I am Purnaha, Aham Purnaha. I am full and complete. I don't need anything to be complete. This is self-knowledge. So the person has received it. He has had a cognitive change, but it is to be converted to mental strength. Okay? So Krishna is now going to talk about the sadhaka who wants to convert this knowledge. To convert, so Krishna is going to give 3 exercises or 3 sadhanas or 3 disciplines to convert these. What are the 3 disciplines? Let's look at that. Just briefly, I'll talk about it first, before going into the verse. Okay. The first is Nididhyasanam. Nididhyasanam means what? It is basically Vedantic meditation. What do we mean by Vedantic meditation? Dwelling on the teaching. Staying with the teaching. That what does the teaching say? The teaching says that I am Purnaha and I don't need to depend upon anything to be happy. That's what the teaching really has to say. Atmani eva atmana tushtaha iti. So, I need to see this part of the teaching again and again, dwell on it again and again. That aham atma asmi, aham purnaha asmi, aham nitya asmi, aham swatantraha asmi. Right? I need to look at this. Aham shuddha asmi. I am pure. I am complete. I am eternal. Iti. I am free. I am swatantra. I am independent. Iti. Because why do we need to do? Because we are holding on to some, ideas about ourselves. What is the idea? I need things and I need people to be full and complete. Without people and without things, I cannot be full and complete. That is the idea that I have in my mind. The knowledge has been given to me. But that emotionally, I'm holding on to my own ideas. Iti. So to loosen that structure, because it's very, very deep vasana. Dehatma buddhi is there. And these are very, very deeply, embedded in me. It's like like there's a smoker who has been smoking cigarette for last 20 years. Now you tell him you give up cigarette. He says, no, I can't. It's just 2 or 3 inches long, this blessed cigarette. And he okay. Let's wait till everybody comes in. Somebody is going on, I don't know why people don't understand. They should mute, वो दुख होता है कि बार बार बोलना पड़ता है। आपकी टीवी की आवाज सब कुछ इधर आ जाती है, इतनी some manner. I'm just muting everybody now. I'm not asking, Okay. Yeah, see now how nice it is. It's quiet, huh? I mean, you're having a class and listening to TV at the background. This is too much. Eh? That's the problem with digital classes. Okay. It's coming from Naresh's house. Okay. Pakda gaya. Okay.
Guru Ma, it is not from her house, it is on the road.
Even if it's on the road, if you're muted, I won't hear it. If you're not muted, I will hear it. Okay, so I have just muted everybody, okay? I'm not asking for... Don't unmute yourself, please. I don't want this. It's very disturbing because it all gets recorded. Okay. Okay, now let's go back to our... Okay. So I'm on the topic of Nididhyasana. Okay. So here's the smoker. He's been smoking now for, 15, 20 years. And now if you tell him you leave smoking, he says, no, I can't do it. It's just 2 inches, 3 inches, of a substance. I says, no, mujhse nahi hoga. I can't live without it. I just can't live without it. Okay? He forgets the fact that before he started smoking, he was living very well without it. There was no problem at all for him. But he forgets all of that. And similarly, we think that life is complete only when there are things and people around. And without them, life will be impossible. And so that kind of vasana is very, very strong. Okay. And therefore, to loosen that kind of vasana, we repeatedly look at the meaning of the words aham purnaha. I am purnaha. Iti. Okay. Meaning, when you see that you're purnaha, what you're actually saying is that I don't really need people and situations and things to be happy, to be full and complete. And so some people, to experiment, what do? They go away to ashram. And they say, कि ashram में they detach from everything. And they say, nahi, abhi hum idhar rahenge aur dekhte hain kaise kya hota hai. And what happens? They go as a couple, So what happens? So children are not, children ka, no, don't call us. Acha, फिर हर वस्तु में, office में बोला, don't call us. Now they're very happy there. Extremely happy. They found that they were actually quite happy without their children, office, and all the comforts of their home, etc. They were able to be very happy. But now what happened? Now they say without each other, we can't be happy. So if one must conduct an experiment, then go alone. Go alone to ashram. You may find you're very happy. And there is, you don't feel unhappy at all. You may find that you're quite fine. So I have this kind of habitual thinking. We hold on to a lot of habitual thinking, and to break that kind of habitual thinking, we have this process called Nididhyasanam. It is true, I need things for physical survival, right? We need food, we need clothes, we need shelter, we need medicines. I need for physical survival, no problem. But for emotional, to be happy psychologically, do I really need anything? Is the question, Iti. Okay. So in Nididhyasana, you keep looking at this fact that you are Purna. And actually, first you understand there has to be a lot of manana. Why am I Purna? How come I am Purna? Iti. And once that is ascertained, you keep seeing that fact again and again. Meaning owning up one's own independence. Okay. That is Nididhyasana. Okay. Which means what? It's not that after listening to Vedanta class, you forget it till the next class. Abhi just, okay, ho gaya, yeah, next class mein aa jao, extremely fresh. We are new, we are fresh. No, it means when we go back from Vedanta class, we spend a little bit of time thinking about what was said. So, mano buddhya hankara chittani naham. That is not just for singing, It's for seeing the meaning of those words and seeing that how much do I feel that this is right, Iti. Okay. Okay. This was at that level, okay, at Nididhyasana level. At another level, Krishna now talks about two more sadhanas. One is called Indriya Nigraha, which is our good old Dhamma. Where did we see it? We saw it in Tattva Bodha. Okay, Indriya Nigraha. Meaning what? Discipline with reference to one's sense organs. Iti. Because what are sense organs? Sense organs are the 5 gates. It's a 5 gates, no? Through which the world enters my mind. 5 gates through which the world enters my mind. And those, when the world enters my mind, it can trigger a lot of things. Right? The world entering my mind through those 5 gates can trigger all kinds of, there can be a great overstimulation of the mind. It triggers a lot of things, because of which, then getting triggered, we can completely lose our track. And therefore, we need, for Vedanta assimilation, overstimulation of the mind is not required. We need emotional strength, and for that, we don't want this overstimulation of violent emotions going on in the mind. It's like, a small plant, when it's a sapling, you have to protect that plant. Because any goat can come and eat it, any cow can come and eat it. So you put a protection around it and you protect that plant. When it grows up and becomes a big tree, then nobody can, no goat can eat it. Even you can tie an elephant to it, nothing will happen to that tree. So until this kind of Sthita Prajna situation happens with us, there is a certain level of protection we need to do for our mind. Okay? Just like a plant. And so we take care of this Indriya Nigraha. Okay? So that means what? I should use my discretion and I should use my discrimination to choose what I allow to come into my mind. What are the things that I allow to come into my mind? And therefore, I avoid those things which are going to disturb me. And this is called Dhamma Indriya Nigraha. Okay? Okay. Then we have what Krishna describes as Mano Nigraha, Shama. We saw that in Tattva Bodha, discipline with reference to our ways of thinking, mastery over our ways of thinking. Okay. What happens is, wherever negative emotions are involved, and they are very, very disturbing, right? So what happens is, wherever there is that kind of uncomfortable, disturbing emotion, it's a build-up. Emotion is a build-up. No event can produce an emotion in 1 second. Even a very tragic event takes place, you know. When that information comes into our mind, it is only information. The pramata receives. Pramata is the knower. The knower receives the information. The knower by himself is just a knower, just receives the information. This is what happened. It's purely cognitive and there is no emotion involved in it. Supposing somebody comes and says, you know, all your money is finished. There is no money left. Now, initially you get the information, it's just information. Then you keep on dwelling on it. Oh, no money, all my money is gone. Oh, now what am I going to do? What's going to happen? What will happen? You keep thinking, you know. So then the emotions are formed of anxiety, panic, depression, sab kuch, it is formed. So these kind of emotions are all thought build up. There's a build up of lot of thinking. One thought by itself is not an emotion. And there is a lot of thinking, there's a train of thinking, it generates these emotions, and therefore thought build up needs to be in my hands. Okay, I need to be the one who is aware. You know, I'm working with a person now who's a long time, you know, Vedanta, truthfully, who is a Swamini also, but had a brain injury. And so every now and then that person, I don't know where that person, you know, goes away. And this thought build-up takes place. And there is such a unbelievable, you know, the mess that is created. Yeah? It's just thought build-up, pure thought build-up. Most of it is futuristic. So I can really vouch face for this, you know, that how you just keep on, it's like a hurricane after that. You have no control. So one should learn to take the reins of our thinking in our hands. So if I know that an event is going to cause this kind of build-up, I need to gain the capacity to put the event aside. How to put it aside? See, it's very easy for you to say that put it aside. How will you put it aside? Okay, first tip. आजकल का modern tip है, वो तो कोई किताब में नहीं मिलेगा आपको. What is the modern tip? Do EFT. Immediately do EFT. Okay? It takes the trauma off. Do EFT, then take the situation and put it at your Bhagwan's feet, at your Ishta Devata's feet. Whatever you consider Bhagwan, at that Bhagwan's this thing mein aap dal do. If it is Guru, then Guru's feet. And you say, okay, now it is in safe hands, this whole event. And please, you bless that so that my mind becomes calm. I want my mind to be calm so that when I recollect this event, I am calm so that I can think it through properly. You know, I don't come into a panic and make a wrong decision. I should be able to think it too properly and leave it at Bhagwan's feet. Sometimes you may have to let it go for 1 month, 2 months. But when you bring the event back, you know, then let it be without the emotional disturbance. Then what do? You see, what is the lesson in this for me? What lesson can I learn from this? Learn your lesson, understand what you need to learn, and let go the event. The event came for you to learn a lesson, learn the lesson and let it go. You don't let it go, it will come back in your life. So learn your lesson and let it go. Okay, don't dwell on it, try to forget it. So any event which creates an emotional build-up, I keep it aside, I don't dwell on it. That is called as Mano Nigraha. Never get into arguments. Arguments can disturb us like anything, you know. Over silly things people argue. Very, very disturbing. Why was, why was the atom bomb blasted? Yeah, the event is over now. And people will take sides and get into such a battle, Iti. And it disturbs you because what happens in argument, each one wants to prove they are right. And then it's all a matter of ego. And then nobody will give up. And all that happens is you're terribly rattled. And for days and days, you will be thinking about it. उसने मुझे ऐसे क्यों बोला? और उसका ये सोच गलत है. और you'll go on and on with it. या किसी ने argue करते समय किसी ने बोला nonsense. You are all nonsense. Then you go away. He told me I am nonsense. How could he do that? I am not nonsense. इस तरह से we get very, very upset. Okay. So arguments, stay out of arguments, iti. So we need these, these kind of disciplines. What is that? Of course, Nididhyasana is at a different level. In fact, first you need Indriya Nigraha and Mano Nigraha, and only then you can go for Nididhyasana. Not only that, you need a lot more. You need Indriya Nigraha, you need Mano Nigraha. You need a very content mind before you can sit for Nididhyasana. नहीं तो Nididhyasana में जो भी पहले हुआ था, all your worries will come out, all your grief and guilt and everything will come out in Nididhyasana. You're trying to sit there and say, Aham Purnaha, Aham Nitya, Aham this thing. None of that will happen. Only whatever's in your emotional world will come up. So first we need to deal with our emotional world. So these now from verse number 58 to verse number 68, Krishna is going to dwell upon Damaha. Iti. For whom is this? Is it for the Jnani? No, it's not for the Jnani. It is for the person who wants this assimilated Jnana Iti. So Jnani is like a tree, he's free. Iti. So he doesn't need it. So what does Krishna do? He takes the example of sensory regulation, okay, sensory discipline. He takes the example of a turtle. A turtle can be very easily killed, because it doesn't have any particular, it doesn't have any way of defending itself. Okay. This turtle doesn't have any way of defending itself. Okay. Can't fight back. So what does Bhagwan do? Bhagwan gives it a nice armor of a back, and has given its capacity to withdraw. It can withdraw from all directions, 5 directions, head and 4 limbs. So it withdraws the limbs, it withdraws its head, and then it just becomes like one stone, when it is faced with danger. It becomes like a turtle. So, and you can't do anything to that shell. It's a very, very hard shell. So this tortoise is there, it's moving about freely, okay? But the minute, and doesn't have any strength to fight, but God has given it this means, so when it senses danger, it withdraws its sense organs, okay? It withdraws its legs and its head. And the moment the threat is gone, it can again pull out and it can start moving again. Similarly, a sadhaka can transact freely in the world, but the moment he sees that there is an occasion for raga, okay, dvesha, kama, krodha, etc., anything which is going to make the ego very strong, then what does he do? Then what can he do? Prevention is much easier. Okay, then suppose he's going to get into an argument. He sees there is this argumentative friend in front of him. What should he do? Because once he gets into the argument, it's very almost impossible to get out of it, because your ego will demand it, the other friend's ego will demand, and you will try that experiment. कि कोई argue करने के लिए आए और आप भी उसमें घुस गए. And then what's going to happen? It's like toothpaste, when you press the toothpaste, the paste comes out, but you can't take it back inside. So when you go for an argument, you get all heated up and you are not able to withdraw. So in Krishna says, Kurmaha Angani Samharate. Kurmaha is this tortoise. And Samharate Angani Sarvashaha, from all the 5 directions. When does he do this? Does he do it all the time? Is he telling you that all the time you should walk with your eyes closed? And your ears closed? No. Krishna is not saying that. When this tortoise sees danger, then he withdraws. Similarly, whenever you see that there is anything which can pollute your mind, okay, you're still vulnerable. As a sadhaka, you're still vulnerable. So when you see that there's something which will pollute your mind, you become preventive. Better to prevent because it's easier. So you become very choosy and selective. You become choosy and selective with reference to what you see, what you read, what movies you do, which TV programs you're going to see, what type of friends you have. Okay, so with reference to all the sensory interactions with the world, one needs to become choosy. There has to be discretion. There has to be this thing. So like the Kurma withdraws, this Prajna also is very intelligent and very judicious because prevention is easier. Like supposing somebody comes to you with some drugs. आजकल ना Bollywood में चल रहा है बहुत drugs का. So they come to you with some dangerous drug. I was listening to them. It's called MDB or MBD or something. Anyway, some dangerous drug. Okay. Are you going to say no the second time or the first time? You have to say no the first time. If you say no the first time, there is no question of a second time. If you don't say no the first time, what happens? The second time, it's in front of you. It's tempting you. Half your strength you have given to it. It was like Vali. He was such a formidable opponent that anybody who came in front of him, just seeing him, half their strength would go to Vali. So it's like that. Any addictive substance is in front, then it can be very tempting. So say no in the beginning itself. No is the first time. So in this way, Krishna says, Indriyani indriyarthebhyah samarte tasya prajna pratishtita. The person who has this capacity for Dhamma will also have, in due course, gain knowledge which is firm. His knowledge will become firm. Okay. With that, we conclude today's class. And let me now just get back to you all. Stop share. Okay. Yes. And I wonder if I can unmute everybody in one go. Unmute all? No. They should give that option, no? Okay. Purnamadav Purnam, ask to unmute. Okay. Okay. Om Swasti Prajabhyam Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahisha Go Brahmanebhya Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyaha Prithvi Sasya Shalini Desho Yam Shobharahitaha Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaha Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Sarvesham Bhavantu Sukhinaha Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Asatu Ma Satkamaya Tamasu Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. I don't see. Om. I can see Sony uncle, you know. I'll call him up and see. Just, I hope he's all is well, right? Okay. So Sony uncle has been the first person to give the first part of the Sanskrit homework. Okay. So all of you are requested to do your homework. This Sunday we are not having a class, so you have enough time. And next week I will send you more complicated homework because you will have verb along with the noun and pronoun. Okay. So with that we conclude. Om Tat Sat. I have to make up class, right? Makeup class is there. One class is there with Sony uncle and with Naresh and Shabby uncle. Naresh, Shabby uncle. I forget now who I told Saturday, who I told Sunday, you know. Maybe Sony uncle was Saturday and Naresh and this thing will be Sunday. Okay. And it will be, I will tell you the timings. Okay. Om. That's it.
गुरु माँ आपने मेरे को कहा था कि सैटरडे या संडे को लेंगे.
नहीं, आपको तो कैंसिल करा दिया था. किसी को तो मैंने कैंसिल करा. नहीं, आई थिंक नरेश की कैंसिल करी थी. तो आपको बोला होगा कि whoever was first उसको मैंने बोला क्योंकि I have so many classes. कल में मुझे 2 क्लास है. So I cannot take makeup class for one group. I think it is Shabby uncle. Anyway, Shabby uncle's eyes are in problem. So Shabby uncle group का क्लास नहीं होगा. शोभा तुम्हारी क्लास होगी संडे को. सोनी अंकल का कल होगा. ठीक है.
ठीक है. ओके.